Hey y'all, and welcome back to Heather's Haven. If you are new, welcome. I am so happy to have you here. In today's video, we are tearing apart this pantry and introducing some much needed organization. I'm also going to be cleaning out and organizing my freezer, which is something that I've never done. So I hope you will come along with me while I tackle this project. So this is the current state of my pantry. A lot of this organization in here I introduced a couple of years ago. So it's been a while since I've really kind of rethought this space and how we're using it. And it's definitely gotten a little out of hand since Christmas. I've kind of just been shoving stuff everywhere. And then since I've started this channel and buying new products, cleaning products, they've just been shoved at the bottom of the pantry. So I definitely need to organize that area as well. So this is the first time I've actually thought about this space and what's going to fit in it. So I'm actually taking the time to measure it this time. And I think I did a really good job. So I'm going to measure everything. I'm going to head to Marshall's and find some clear organization bins, just see what I can find, and then get started. So we are back home and I'm going to take another look at this pantry. So there are some things that I want to change here, some things I want to keep the same. Like I think I'm going to keep the paper towels there. I want to keep my shopping bags up there. And then that is just a basket of other bags. I use all of those bags for my Goodwill donations. So I'm okay with everything up there. I'm going to keep that the same. Everything here, like I need to clean some of this stuff out. I don't have another spot for my air fryer. Like there's really nowhere else to put it. I've tried and that's honestly the best spot for it. So it's just going to stay there. I feel like I need to clean some of this up and possibly rearrange it. And then this whole shelf is just a big mess. In here we have hot chocolate and popcorn and tea, and that doesn't really make sense, and rice and pasta and snacks. I mean, I've just kind of been throwing everything in here, and it's just, the organization is not great. And I feel like these bins are okay, but it's just accumulating a lot of random stuff, and I feel like I want it organized a little bit better. Same thing with down here. Like I need to get rid of all of that stuff. I feel like we kind of, all of our snacks like are not consistent. Like they kind of vary week to week or month to month and what we're like into. So, and I don't have like a bunch of kids who just constantly want the same snack all year long. So I feel like my needs, especially on this shelf, vary a whole lot. So I need to take some time and think about what's going to work best. And then all of these bins down here are, for the most part, working good. I feel like these two bins, like I'm constantly changing stuff out. Like that's typically for all of my big bags of chips. And sometimes everything spills over to this basket, but sometimes I have a bunch of these individual chips in this basket. I don't know, it kind of becomes a mess. So I'm feeling like if I move some of these individual snacks up here, that will leave more room for when we have the bigger bags of chips. So, and then all of this is our bread and hamburger buns and stuff like that. That's working. And down here on the bottom, none of this is working for me. There's really not a whole lot of stuff down here, but ever since I've been cleaning other people's houses, I do have like a bag full of my cleaning supplies, and that's fine when I want to take my stuff and leave and go and clean, but I want it all organized in drawers. So I bought some drawers for that, and then any like overflow of like my cleaning supplies, any extras that I've purchased, I want to be able to put it down there. And then these are the bins that I purchased when I was at Marshall's. I don't know where all of them are going to go, so I'm just going to kind of play around with with everything in my pantry and see. I'm just going to mess around with it until I find a system that works. So I bought 4 of these smaller ones, and then these are the same size right here. And then I bought these 2 big bins, and I'm thinking about putting these actually in my freezer because my freezer is a hot mess. There's stuff just all over the bottom. I feel like I'm always digging for stuff down there. Here, let me show you. It's dirty too. All of this down here is just crazy to me. I don't like it. I feel like I could never find anything or fit anything in here. I just don't like this design overall, but it's what I got to work with. So, and this is all the stuff I made in the last video for smoothies. Have I eaten any of them? Sure haven't. And then we have our ice in here because our ice machine broke on our fridge and they wanted $700 to fix it, and I already had these bins and I ordered a $7 scoop. So $7 is a lot cheaper than $700. So we're just doing it old school, but I definitely want to organize down here and see if I can make this a little better if at all possible. So let's get to it. So my strategy was first just to go through each shelf and remove any items that were expired. Like these chips here, they were on the cusp of expiring, but I actually did not like them at all. They were really terrible. So I was just gonna get rid of those and then go in and take everything off of the shelves, vacuum everything, give everything a really good wipe down, and then start sorting and organizing from there. This little handheld vacuum has been so great. I've used it in so many different areas in my home, but unfortunately I've lost the attachments to it, so I am definitely looking to buy a new one. So if you have any recommendations, please leave me a link or let me know what you like to use in the comments below. I definitely want to have another one in my kitchen. I just wanted to say thank you so much for clicking on my video and hanging out with me today as I tackled my crazy pantry. I would absolutely love it if you subscribed if you've not done so already, and just join me on my journey while I try to keep my head above water, juggling mom life and my full-time job and all the other things that comes with running a home. So come along with me. So about 3 years ago, I had painted, I think, about the first 3 shelves in my pantry. Before I had really ever organized my pantry, I just put everything in there, like in the boxes, and I don't know if it was moisture or what the deal was, but the bottoms of the cartons and boxes would stick and just really damage the paint in there. So I had painted the first 3, but for whatever reason, I had clearly stopped above that. I think I was like, well, if I can't see it, it doesn't matter. But getting back up there and cleaning this one particular shelf is really banged up. So I do have more paint. And so maybe this spring I'll go back in there and finish those top 2 shelves, even though, you know, I can't really see it. I know it's something that is still there. And whenever we do sell in the future, it'll just be that much easier to do any little touch-ups and then have that space be all done. So this is what my kitchen looked like when I had pulled out all of the contents of my pantry. This was incredibly overwhelming to me. I don't do well with this method of pulling everything out, but the reason I did do it this way this time was because I really wanted to look at my pantry with fresh eyes. I feel like the organization was not working because I was so stuck into what had already been implemented, and it was really hard for me to see it being done any other way. So removing everything, seeing everything I had, really helped me look at it in a new way, give me a new perspective on the items that I had and what could be grouped together a little better, and just thinking of different spots to put all of my items whenever I put everything back into the pantry, and what was going to be most logical with how we were utilizing our pantry currently. So it took me a couple of hours to pull everything out of the pantry, to clean everything and get everything into the bins the way that I wanted. And so now I'm ready to start putting everything back. These paper towels here, they've been working, so I don't want to mess with that system. It works fine. Actually, everything on the top shelf was working out just fine. So I was able to put everything back where that belonged. But it was all the shelves below that I then got to kind of play around with all of my bins and figure out what was going to work best for us and how we like to use it, where we kind of had tended to grab for certain things and what made the most sense for us. So this is kind of a slower process for me. I do try to take my time with these things, and I've gotten everything set to kind of where I want it for now, but that's always something you can go back and revisit and move it around as you kind of work and live in that space a little while, just kind of see what's working, what's not, and so you can always go back and adjust, but this is kind of where I have landed for now. So this space down here has always been a bit of a catch-all. What I typically keep down here is my mop and bucket. So everything else has just kind of been shoved in there. There was paint. It's wall paint. I didn't even know I had that down there. String lights. Sometimes we store dog food down there. And since I've been cleaning other people's houses, I have a bunch of extra cleaning supplies down there. That's just space is really not working out for me. So I did order some bins, or some drawers rather, storage organization pieces from Amazon. It is kind of a short space, so I had to measure and be a little bit more precise than, just running out to Target and buying something. But these bins fit great. They offer a lot of organization, and so I had fun kind of playing around and figuring out where I wanted to put everything. So after I had put everything into the drawers, I had realized that I had these clear storage containers that I had been saving. So I pulled those out. They were actually a perfect fit into these drawers, and they just helped me corral some of the smaller items a little bit better. So I got these basket label clips off of Amazon. I think there's maybe 25 in there, and it did come with a pen. So it's kind of like a chalkboard type label, and the pen is kind of like a marker, and it stays on there real well. Like I messed up one of the labels, and I just used a wet paper towel to wipe it off, and I actually had to kind of scrub it off a little bit, so it does stay on there pretty well. Like I'm not afraid of it rubbing off just as we're reaching in and grabbing our snacks and everything. So they are staying on the bins really, really well. The baskets, not as well. So kind of time will tell if I want to keep those on the baskets, but really all that's in the baskets is chips and bread, but it looks cute for now, so we'll see if I leave those on there. But the clear plastic bins are staying on really well, and I do like those because those bins I'm probably going to change out the snacks that are in them fairly frequently, just as you know our family wants different things throughout the year. So I like being able to just wipe it off and being able to write something new over it, and still being able to maintain our organization. So now we are on to my freezer. I absolutely hate this style of freezer, but I also dislike the side-by-side. So I guess there's no winning with me, but it is just a complete disorganized mess. And because of it, I don't like cleaning it very frequently. So I know there's been a lot of stuff just kind of shoved to the bottom, and that means that we forget about it and we're not eating it and using it up, and stuff spills in the bottom. So I wanted to introduce some bins in here. I don't know why I haven't thought of it sooner, but I feel like it's going to work out great. I definitely need to give this freezer a good scrub down, and like that little plastic seal, all sorts of crumbs in there. So it was looking pretty grimy, so I'm just pulling everything out. This bottom drawer here, I was on the struggle bus with it. It's acting like it will lift out, but I could not get it out to save my life, and I didn't want to break anything. So I got a little creative and just basically stuck my whole body back in there to get everything cleaned up. But it worked out, and hopefully I won't have to do that for a while. Because the thought is that the bins will catch any of the crumbs. So hopefully it'll stay cleaner a little bit longer behind there. But yeah, just getting everything cleaned up before I put all the bins and everything back in and see how everything's going to work out. So now comes the fun part of organizing everything into the bins. I really wanted to pay special attention to how I stacked everything into the freezer just because of the design. I knew that some of the items were going to have to just be piled on top of each other. So I wanted to make sure that the items that we reach for less frequently are at the bottom, although I am concerned that if I stick them down there, we may forget about them. So I will kind of have to wait and see how that plays out. But yeah, I wanted the things less frequently grabbed for at the bottom, the stuff that we grab for all the time kind of stacked towards the top. And so that is just what I'm doing here now. Just trying to figure out how I can configure everything into these bins in a way that makes the most sense for us. And this is the after. Not perfect, but definitely a huge improvement from where we were before, and definitely it functions a lot more efficiently for our family. Very, very pleased with the outcome. Thank you guys so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you next time.